Hey, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beat the Banks. This is our weekly live stream here from Beacon DeFi. I'm your host, Chris, the DeFi Professor. This is our community training where we talk about pretty much anyone who's casual to the scene, looking to get into decentralized finance, not really sure what to think about what you're seeing in the news, all of this stuff that's coming around. We have our weekly podcast, Total Value Locked, on Wednesdays. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern. This is the free community training that we have every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And let me make sure I'm live. I think I'm live. Still live? Okay, good. A couple things that are going on today that I wanted to... First, I want to give a shout out to all of my fellow unicorns and Creator Fi for that cohort. And getting some weird things. Let me just close. You know what I should do? I should just close a couple of tabs. I have a problem with tabs. I am fully aware of that. And let me just do one of the things so I can have a better handle of what's going on here. There we go. So, as part of Creator Fi, hello to all my unicorns. I have won a free spin round. Well, I'm being featured today on Betterment, which is a great mini app on Farcaster. Let me bring up that screen. So it's out here in Farcaster. I already have the Betterment app up. Should be coming soon. So if you have Farcaster, definitely check out Betterment. Fantastic way to support creators. Fantastic way for you to win some prizes. So shout out to Tony Hawk, Zero Rights Media, and the Betterment team. For that, I did win a prize for my content specifically to get into this round. So very thankful for that. Very thankful to any new people who come into the audience today. Thanks for that. So we've got a lot of really big news that's kind of been coming around if you watch our podcast. And a lot of that is with the integration of institutions and large fintech groups coming down into DeFi, thanks to things like the Genius Act from President Trump and his administration, the new Market Structure Act, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act is the official name of it. They'll be doing a vote on it next week to try and get that through, and President Trump has pledged that they're going to get it through. Even though Coinbase has kind of pulled its support, but they're working to amend things to get them back in there. The point is, we're going to see a lot more of today's traditional finance into today's world. And the one thing I wanted to talk about today, which is part of the what's going to be available as a content post here in the Betterment ecosystem, is right here with my post on Zora. Now, if you've never heard of Zora, Zora is a decentralized on-chain media platform. I think of it like Instagram, as my cat wants to say. And my cats are now chasing each other around. So this is Zora. You can find me at the DeFi Professor at Zora.co. Zora itself started out as like an NFT decentralized app that actually had its own. That they still have their own blockchain. They are in the OP superchain group, so they are Base adjacent because they are very integrated with Base. But Zora is its own platform for creators to go ahead and create their own content. As you can see here, it's very much looking a lot like Instagram here. You actually can also go live. We are also live on Zora for a live stream. So, although it doesn't show me as being live. There I am. Now I'm live. But yeah, that's this post right here. So if you go to Zora.co / at the DeFi Professor, you can check out this post right here. There's already some some other holders of it. So thank you so much. I appreciate the support. My goal with this is to try and create a lot of educational content for people who are new into the space of on-chain investing with blockchains and whatnot. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about, and I have a whole glossary of things I'm going to be putting out as well. A lot more content for anyone who wants to hold my creator token. You can do so by clicking on trade. You just have to put some ETH into your wallet there, because ETH is the currency, the gas that you need there, and you're able to support me by, and people are buying my content coin. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the support. Okay, I don't want to show the cell. There we go. It's back up. There we go. I like that. So today's post is 10 ways to stay safe in 2026. We've kind of gone over this topic a couple of times if you watch our show here. And again, if you know people who know nothing about crypto, nothing about financial literacy, digital assets, this is really a good way to stay safe. Sounds good. So just heard from Toady and the group of Betterment. They're going live in 10 minutes. Okay. So there's one thing in this, with what we do. We're a huge proponent of safety in this space. Let me bring myself back out to my big old noggin. That's the best way to word this. As with all technology, you have to be safe and secure in what you do when you interface with new technology. AI is the huge thing right now. A lot of people are using it as a productivity assistant. There's been some issue because OpenAI can be subpoenaed for your data. And verify this. These are things that have kind of popped up in my head as I think about them now. There's going to be a push towards privacy in AI, because if you start using your AI as like your buddy, some people like to use it almost like a life coach, right? You want to be in a situation where you know that your data is not going anywhere. Now, there are ways to do that. You can self-host on your own system some of these smaller ones that don't require a whole lot of power to run. If you want to see something about that, let me know. Happy to make content on that. But specifically here in the digital asset space, there is no FDIC. That's the first thing I want to preface this with. In our world, it is about self-custody. The power for you to be able to custody your own assets. You are your own bank. You don't answer to anybody when it comes to your assets. You're carrying them with you. You are, if you want to participate in what we call yield farming, you can lease some of your liquidity to an application. They're going to take it and give you a yield in return for your capital. Guys, that's normally what banks do with your money. So if you go to a bank, you deposit $1,000, let's just call it 90%, gets automatically sucked into a system where it's rehypothecated and used for a variety of other things. That's just how fractional banking works. In this system, you get to carry your money everywhere. You get to make the decisions. Applications are fighting for your liquidity because you have, let's not call it a democratic thing, but you have the ability to choose with what you're doing with your money. With that said, it's very important to understand that with self-custody, a lot of the safety net is taken away, mainly because in DeFi, which is a bunch of ecosystems on, we'll call them mesh networks of computers that form what we call a blockchain that oversee that. Nobody owns that. There is no one country that says, this is our blockchain. In decentralized finance, it's decentralized. It means that everyone has a say. And that's the beautiful thing about this system. And the one thing I love to say, it's a saying from Eric Voorhees, is that, and he said this at Consensus in Austin, 2023. He said the most beautiful thing, and probably the most problematic thing about DeFi, is that it was built by a bunch of fantastic minds using $0 of taxpayer money from anywhere in the world. And that's the beautiful thing about DeFi. Anyone can build, anyone can come through and create what they want. This doesn't come without the need for some sort of oversight, right? You want to make sure that you have that. I'm not saying insurance, but just doing the right amount of vetting. This is stuff we all talk about at our education company, which is called Beacon DeFi, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. The point is, you have access to self-custody, and you have the access to do what you want with your money. And that's the key. And you can get much better risk-adjusted returns in this arena. Shout out to everybody on the arena, by the way, than you can in other places. Okay, so, pardon me. Let's start with how to stay safe in this space. Because I did want to talk about that. That's what the whole point of today was, is really just to go through this. I'll probably make a video at some point talking about this. And hopefully you can see this. Let me zoom in. You can, of course, go and grab it on Zora if you'd like. All right, it's not getting any bigger. Let's see if we can do this. Open image anytime. There we go. There we go. That's probably better. Now it does go from down and then back up. So we'll start this. And these are not in any order, but I'm going to explain why I feel this way for a lot of what we're seeing here. So, number one, cold storage first. What does this mean? What I want to make clear to you is that the easiest way to buy digital assets, to buy crypto, if you want to call it that. I think digital assets is a better term than crypto, because crypto is a bit dated at this point with regards to, cryptocurrency, how it's farmed, how it's created. There are still coins that do that, right? Bitcoin does that. There's even things like Caspa and a couple other coins that have proof of work tied to it, where it's issued over specific things. But in today's world, in proof of stake, with the majority of blockchains that are out there, you just purchase. You just already issued coins. So with that said, digital asset is a better term in today's world. Do not store your hard-earned money on a centralized exchange. I know that can be a bit of a hot take, right? Because we're going from putting your money into a bank where they make money off of you, and now you want to custody your own assets. But don't repeat that same mistake and keep your money on a CEX, whether it's Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, Binance, Bitfinex, Bybit, Mexi. I can name 20 more if I need to. Don't keep it on there. Now, if you are there because you are there to trade your funds, like using like their order book exchange or something like that, because you like to do trading and you like their system, like let's say, for example, on eToro, for example, that's fine. Use it for that. But do not keep idle funds on an exchange. You should keep it in what we call a hardware wallet. Cold storage is basically the better term for it. Now, choosing between cold storage, let's just do a quick search here even. Crypto cold. I'm using Brave, by the way. And when I do that, you're going to see... Really? My screen hasn't changed. 1 second. I swear, it's one of these days where things just stop working. There we go. And what's interesting is that there are sponsored links here, which I don't like. I don't know if I love all of these, but there's some that are okay. So you have Tangem. And I got the standard wrong. That's my fault. EAL, not EAP. Arculus. And this is a cold wallet in 2023. That won't be working well. You also have Ledger. One Key. And there's a whole bunch to choose from, right? We've gone over cold storage wallets here on this call previously. So people will ask, for cold storage, which should I use? Use whichever one you want. There's no real, frankly, difference between the majority of them when it comes to just cold storage, right? There's some that offer better options, right? So there's things like Bluetooth, NFC, works with your phone, that type of thing. As long as you have access to it and you can control the access to it, that's all that matters. Because what matters here is what's called a seed phrase. And that is like the private key. In most cases for these wallets, it is a 12 to 24 word phrase from a dictionary standard called BIP39 that can be used it's used as an algorithm to create hundreds of wallet addresses for you across multiple different protocols that support BIP39. So if you have a wallet like a Ledger or like an Arculus that supports multiple ecosystems like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even like Solana and some of these others, it can create all those wallet addresses for you that will be unique to you because it's unique to that seed phrase. So the seed phrase, the private key, is the most important part that you have to keep safe. Now, the majority of these projects actually are somewhat open source, which is good. That gives you the idea, and this should be EAL5, not EAP5, my apologies. For certified cold storage. EAL5 is the absolute minimum that you have. Now, most things now are at EAL7, but 5 will be fine, because let's say that you bought an older, or you've had, let's say like a Nano S from Ledger, and I'm looking for my hardware wallets. I just recently cleaned my desk, so they're not on here like they normally are. But having a hardware wallet that meets all of those cryptographic standards is what you need. I'm just going to hold up my Solana Seeker because this has a seed vault on it, a private seed wallet on here. And it's protected by biometrics, which is good. And it does conform to the EAL, I believe, EAL7 standard. So as long as you have some sort of EAL certified, at least 5 or above, then you're fine. And they should last forever. Now, if you have a company that has open source stuff, that's probably the best thing. So things, groups like GridPlus, groups like Keystone, and there's many others, Trezor, that have open source code. So if something happens to that company, you're not going to lose all of your data or your access to your assets. And that's the hard part that you have to keep safe. Because the moment somebody has your seed phrase, they get everything. So that's why there's even tools like Impress Seed. Ledger sells something called the Billfold. And basically, it's just a small credit card size thing. And the fun part about this is that you can't put the entire word on there. It's just the first 4 letters of that word. So now you can get access to the entire BIP39 dictionary so you can kind of figure out what the words are. But it's just more to be more of a, I guess, a mnemonic device to help you remember. But yeah, these are all, you stamp these in. So keeping that seed phrase safe is supremely important, and using something like that is what you need. But what you can do is, once you get those wallets set up, then transfer your crypto from Coinbase or whatever CEX you're using into the cold storage wallet. And that's where you'll keep it, like you would in a savings account. It's not going to earn anything while it's there, but it's there, right? So in the event that you need to actually transact with it, send it back to the exchange, and then you can either trade with that, send it down to DeFi, whatever else that you'd like to do. With that said, if you're going to be using a hardware wallet, like a Ledger, like a Trezor, for yield farming, have it be a separate device. Now, for those who are a little worried about the pricing, I can tell you. Oh, they call it the Ledger Nano Classic now. Okay. You want the S Plus is available for $60. Wow, that's good. Nano X is now it used to be $149, now it's $99. The S Plus is really honestly all that you really need. That's all you really need. So for $60, you can get a beautiful little colorway. Like I love the orange. Where's the translucent green? Do they still got that? That was my personal favorite. There it is. Oh, it's so nice. That's my personal fave. It doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to get you the access. And again, I've got a book coming out that kind of describes all of this. But your funds are not on this device, by the way. This is just an access point to your funds on the blockchain. And that's the one thing that people need to understand as well. But if you're going to be farming with a hardware wallet, Ledger is going to be the way to go. Why? Because it has the most support. That's the simple answer. If you want to go to somewhere like layer 2, like Stacks, for example, which is a BTC layer 2, the Leather wallet, the Xverse wallet, they only support Ledger. They may support some others at this point, but Ledger is going to have the most support overall. If you're going Ethereum virtual machine or EVM products, EVM chains like Base, Arbitrum, the Rabi supports Ledger. Solana, Ledger. Now, Trezor's the other big name in hardware wallets. It's only supported from a DeFi perspective on Ethereum and EVM related chains. So you're not going to have that same flexibility than you would with the Ledger. So that's why the Ledger is the recommendation for us for the majority of things. Now, we're seeing a rise in mobile-friendly apps, which frankly is probably the way that the industry was going to go at some point anyway, right? Because you're in a situation where you have mobile devices and you want to make sure that you just have it on your person. Sometimes the best device you can have for crypto or DeFi or Web3 is the one in your hand, just like a camera. So make sure that if you're going to be going around swapping coins or anything like that, that you do so where there's no prying eyes. I would definitely recommend, and I don't know where my phone's in my pocket. Get a privacy screen. See how I just turn it like that and you can't see? Get one of these privacy screens. It is so important. What's interesting is that I actually got this privacy screen because I like to read my phone in bed. And my wife is very light sensitive. She's a light sleeper. She doesn't like bright lights or anything. So that's actually the reason why I got the screen, was because she's, to my side. She can't see my screen. She can stay asleep and it doesn't bother her. But prying eyes, over-the-shoulder attacks, things like that, those things happen a lot in crypto. So you got to be careful. We don't like having DeFi at all for mobile because of those reasons. Really easy threat vector. Anyone could steal your phone, and that's kind of it. But now that we have good biometrics, VPNs, privacy screens, never use public Wi-Fi without a VPN. Use a VPN on your phone. There's a couple different things you can use for that. I wouldn't do a ton of DeFi on my phone if I had to, but it's really just for the idea that you can log into your phone, use the mobile version of the wallet you would use on your desktop to just either do a quick trade or get out of a position if you had to, and then do what you need to. But I would save the majority of your activity for a desktop or a laptop. It's just a more secure way to go about it. With that said, number 4 is probably even more important: a password manager. Guys, the number of people that I've seen live demo products, and granted that's a demo, right? But I've seen people actually demo actual things and are able to type in their password. That is not a good way to go in terms of OPSEC. And when we say OPSEC, we mean operational security. Again, shout out to Betterment and the group. You can mint how to... Oh, I love that. Look at that neon sign. Thank you, Toady, for that. That's amazing. And you can just mint that to spin and win. Nice. Look at that. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. And again, that's available on Zora here. Just go to zora.co/at the DeFi Professor, and then you can get this for yourself. Do I have a specific password manager that I go with? The answer is I use anything but LastPass. This is the actual recommendation. And what's good is that you actually can migrate some stuff from LastPass to other things. Now, in a world where Google or Android has a password manager, Apple has a password manager, you can use those. I prefer to have one that I can go across different devices and platforms because not everybody in my family has an Apple device, even though we all have Apple phones. So I use 1Password. 1Password's been fantastic. You can also use Bitwarden. Bitwarden's open source, which is great, as well as Dashlane's another good one, or KeePass if you're really security conscious. I know people who have KeePass on a server that has no access to the internet on their physical network in a small little server over there that they can kind of walk into and do that. There's layers to the paranoia with security that you can do for sure. But I like 1Password. It works well. If you do the copy paste, it's like gone in less than like 10 seconds. So you have to, it doesn't save anything in the clipboard. You can even because in today's world you can have things auto-filled. You can have it so it doesn't even remember the passwords in your clipboard. So if you have a clipboard manager or something like that, that's something that you can do with this. So 1Password's my tool of choice. The reason why I like password managers in general is because you just have to remember 1Password. That's the master password. As long as you keep it at least 30 characters, and I know that could be a bit of an ask, then everything will be safe. Like I was looking, and I think it said with what I have on my password manager and my password strength, because most of my passwords are over 50 characters long, it would take quadrillions of years to break in and take everything. So again, if you're on LastPass, still, you need to leave because they had a breach 2 years ago, and if you did not follow their minimum baseline, then you don't have a ton of time. If you did, like I think it's like 30 characters or something like that, you have at least 5 to 10 years to get everything off, because the one thing that they didn't do is they didn't encrypt secure notes. So yeah, thanks, Toady. Okay, so yeah, make sure you don't use LastPass. They've been compromised more than once, and this is just terrible, especially if you use secure notes. And you didn't have a good password manager. They're hackers actively trying to get at your stuff. So it's also a good sign for you to rotate your passwords, rotate your master password if you need to, rotate your wallets every so often, utilizing the stuff like this. Okay. Number 5, email isolation. If you want to stay safe in this space, do not use the same email everywhere. Please do not do that. Have one specifically for investing. What you do on Wall Street or TradFi, have a different password and a different email for that. For crypto, for your wallets, for your password manager, different email. It's very trivial to get a free email from Gmail. I recommend Proton because they are based in Switzerland and they have really good privacy laws. So that would be the best place to go if you just want that. You can get a free email there. There's a bunch of other free emails like Tutanota and some of these others that are out there. We can choose one. The point is, don't have your email that you use to like pay your bills, stuff like that, on this system, because if you get compromised, yeah, all that's getting taken too. These bots are very good at what they do in terms of exploiting people. So please be very careful. Number 6, what we call the $5 wrench attack, having a low profile in public. Now, I am wearing a MetaMask shirt. I love this shirt. Long sleeve, got it in Denver 3 years ago. I'm wearing this beacon hat, but you can't really tell that I work in this industry. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people, if you go around the world, that will just try and rob you if they think you have money. Best way for them to know you have money is to wear a shirt that shows a major NFT or some sort of something. That's just a signal. So just be very careful. Obviously, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you, but just be very careful. Keep a low profile in public if you actually have a significant amount of assets in this space. Practice wallet separation. That's another part that's not on here, but part of this isolation, and just really the whole point is risk isolation of this whole list, is just making sure you compartmentalize all of your risk so you're not in a situation where if something happens to one of your accounts, that it affects everything else. That's the best part about being in this system, is that you can easily create compartments for different types of risk. Isolate the risk and you'll be fine. Establish your routine. So this is something that we teach in our mastermind all the time. That is very important in our live communities as well. Have a routine. A routine will save you from the biggest issue that you have in this space, and that's human error. Muscle memory is a good thing. And if you can be in a situation where you do the same thing every week for a certain amount of time, routines are good. Security is something you should do quarterly, in my opinion. You should be revoking all of your transactions, the approvals for the transactions, every other day at this point, because of things that have been happening where people are getting hacked like a week or two later after they didn't realize they were exploited. So revoke approvals, because approvals in this space, because it's decentralized, the approval is a step, at least on Ethereum blockchains, where you do something with the approval, then the execution. The approval step is what the protocol needs to actually spend any funds that you have for a specific asset. So if you remove that approval, then the person who's exploited you has to get that approval, and if they can't get that, then they can't get to your funds. So, or they can just go through with an existing approval and get to your funds, and that's what you don't want. So establish a routine every other day. Revoke your approvals. And possibly one thing you could also do is just check the physical security of your devices once a quarter. Make sure that all your devices have the correct firmware, that they're updated to the latest things. If you want to rotate passwords, rotate wallets, you can certainly do that every 18 months. I would say is probably a good time. You want to try and make it so that there's not a lot of trails in terms of being able to access any of your funds. That's really the whole point. But having a routine will do that. Making sure your password health is good, making sure your physical and your network health, in terms of your physical network, all that's good to go. That's good. That's going to be safe. Making sure that your hardware wallets still work. There is a fun little quirk about ledgers, that sometimes if you don't have the right cord, and the USB cord on ledgers, I will say this, they're the first to go. Sometimes you will just get a terrible cord, and they're fairly picky. In a world of fast charging, there's a whole class of electronics that don't work well unless you use an older, non-fast charging cable. Just kind of how it is. Okay. Head back up here. Sorry, I'm just retweeting. Toady just let me know with Betterment that there's a post up in order to interact. And again, that's on Farcaster. If you want to be a part of that and be in a situation where you can have fun and hopefully get some prizes, get to farcaster.xyz, whether on your phone or on the desktop, and go to Betterment. Betterment's a great brand. They have fun things they do for people all the time, whether it's through sponsored posts or winning some prizes. Mint to spin and win. How could you not love that? And shout out to Toady and the Betterment team for giving me this opportunity. Very thankful. I feel very humbled to have this opportunity to be able to just share this information with you. This is information I talk about all the time. I've been doing this in this space full time for the last 5 years, guys. So I talk about this stuff all the time. Browser profiles. This is pretty big. A lot of people are all about making sure they use the right browser. And that's fine. You should use a separate browser for any of your investing anyway. And the one that we recommend at Beacon is Brave. Why? 2 reasons why. I'll give you 2 good ones. One, it's very memory efficient. I will say that, one thing that I've been looking for, at least on my Mac, because I use a MacBook Pro, is that an older one, is that often browsers can eat up a lot of memory. I don't know if you knew this, but it's like if you're like me, I do at least 45 hours a week just on research in this space. Having tons of tabs open, that's the bane of my existence. You definitely want to make sure that you have a browser that is memory efficient. Otherwise, everything's going to slow down. Brave in my testing has been the best. So if we go like the best overall browser for Mac, Safari is going to win just because it is optimized specifically for Mac hardware. But there are some others that are out there that are also just as good. Happy to make content of this if you want. Just let me know. Brave is the other browser that works really well and is Chrome based. Which is good because all of the Chrome Web Store extensions that you'd like for your wallet and stuff like that, work with Brave. Now, Brave also, and Chrome has this too, has these different profiles. Each profile is its own little sandbox where they don't mix extensions together. And this is how I do a lot of research. I have what we call a burner wallet, basically a wallet that has no money in it except for the bare essentials if I really need it for that. But if I need to go to a new protocol or just a new dApp, decentralized app where I want to check out what's going on, they want you to connect your wallet, connect the burner app. Don't use the app that has all your money in it if you've never been there before, because you want to make sure that it's something that you may want to consider. Even if you're just starting out, we always recommend never spend more than $50. I love the spirit of some of the people in our group who are just like, I'm going to go in and put $10,000 into things. I'm like, slow your roll, because if you've never been in this space, you want to make sure that you're trying things out first, because if you don't understand how protocols work, once something happens that you may not realize is happening, you're not going to like the result if you have no idea how it works. So start small. If you like it, if it looks like it aligns with what you want to do in your investment thesis, then you can start padding your position. But if you're first starting out, use a browser profile that's not what you would normally use. Check it out. And as you can see, I have a whole ton that I use different ones for, like for airdrops. I have one for different ecosystems, like if I'm testing something out in BitTensor, for example, which is a Polkadot based blockchain. I'll go and use a different profile. Why? Because there are different wallets that are out there that have multi-ecosystem as well, and they'll walk on top of each other if they're in the same profile. So sometimes it's good to have separate profiles just for that. Number 9, auto lock enabled. All right, so what does that mean? That means, like on certain wallets, like here with, for example, with Rabby, this is what we use this is what we recommend to all of our users. There is a setting here. I have mine set to never, which probably not the best. But you can set it so that it auto locks well, it used to be 5, now it's 10 minutes. So it's kind of like a screensaver, right? So if you don't touch it for 10 minutes, it's gonna lock, and then you're gonna have to put in your password to unlock it, which is probably the best thing you should do anyway. I don't think I've ever left it open more than a day. I'm getting better about closing my browsers. So if you reboot, like if you close down your browser and you bring it back up, you're going to have to put in the password again. So having this auto lock, whether you're using MetaMask, whether you're using Rabby, whether you're using Phantom will just lock itself up after I think 3.5 minutes of you not using it. It can be unfortunately painful, but it is something that should be there. The whole point of security is that it's meant to be annoying. The reason why security should be annoying is because it stops attackers from going any further. The majority of attackers and exploiters in this group, they want low-hanging fruit. They want the people who are uneducated and B, ill-prepared. And if you follow my content, you will be neither. So that's why auto-locks should be good. I should start using the auto-lock. I mean, to be fair, Phantom does it every, like I said, 3.5 minutes. But you should have it set up. Because I want you to stay safe here in 2026. Before we head on to the 10th and the bonus tip, again, I want to say thank you to the group at Betterment for sponsoring today's post. Go out and check it out on Farcaster. Go and pick up the post. Well, let's see where we're at then, shall we? We had 6 holders before we went online. How many do we have now? 202 holders. My goodness. I don't know what to say to that. Thank you guys so much for all of you who are supporting. Hopefully you're finding value in this. I am blown away by that number, to be quite honest. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Wow. Obviously, thanks to Toady Hawk, thanks to Betterment, thanks to Zero Rights Media and their whole team. Also, thanks to Rachel Wilkins and Creator5 for believing in me and accepting me into the cohort. And, I made some content that got me a win. And this is the prize for it. I mean, the fact that there's 202 people who have come through and are now holding this is unreal. Unreal. Shout out to Mr. Wales. You are the largest holder of this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've got a little bit of a series coming out specifically about how to become a creator on chain. I mean, this is just giving me more validation that it's my job to help everybody learn not only about DeFi but how to become a content creator here in this space, because there's so many people who are looking to come through but they don't understand how the tech works. So I'm happy to offer myself as a resource for that. So again, please go out to Betterment, support them. Thank you so much for this fantastic feature. There's an hour and 15 minutes left, and apparently 540 are available. There's 10 million that get minted on this. Does that mean that people own that much? That's crazy. Well, anybody who buys some, please let me know. Happy to give you a prize with my gratitude for that. Thank you so much for the support. I am speechless right now. I have no idea what to say to all this. But thank you. And I keep going. Keep going. I wanted to cut out to our group here. This is our free group, Total Value Locked from Beacon DeFi. This is our absolutely free group. If you want to join up, if you want to learn a little bit more about what we do, this is our weekly training, as I said, called Beat the Banks, our community live stream, where we just try and bring you, some very high level stuff. If you're curious, if you don't know a whole lot about the space, how you can get in, you can check out our Start Here post. If you get here, see a message from myself and our CEO, Andrew. And access to exactly what our paths are. So we have free content here, but if you want a little bit more, if you want one-on-one mentorship from me, direct access to me to talk to me whenever you like, you can check out either our Beacon Challenge or our Beacon Mastermind, especially if you're a high net worth individual. We'll give you one-on-one mentoring, really just help you get into the space through our 30-day lighthouse journey. And then if you're here on TVL, you can take our Beacon Challenge where you can make your first dollar in DeFi within the first 48 hours. That's all available here through our our group here. Again, school.com/beacon. Please feel free to come aboard, show us some support. We've been doing this now almost 3 years. We'll be in May. So very, very proud and privileged to be a large resource and voice in this space. Join the many, many who have come here to learn how to become a competent DeFi investor. Take back your financial freedom. Beat the banks. Because you deserve it. All right. Guys, this is a sign that you can't see, but it's over here, over my shoulder here. It's a little canvas that I have printed out that says always send a test transaction. This is probably one of the biggest things you can do to stay safe in 2026 is to send the test transaction, because sometimes you have no idea if you actually gone to the right place. Now, in our content, we talk about, triple checking certain parts. We talk about knowing what you sign specifically in the Rabby wallet. You're happy to check out any of that content if you like. Always send a small test amount first. Even now, I've been in crypto since 2011 and in DeFi since 2019. I still send a test transaction every single time. Now, that test transaction should be anywhere between $1 to $5, just to make sure it's going to the right place. Because I have seen some things, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen someone send $1 million to the wrong address into the ether. I saw someone send the wrong type of currency, $10,000 worth, to the wrong right wallet, wrong asset, because that asset on the CX only took a certain number or a certain type of asset, and they sent a different one. So again, it's all about test transactions, making sure you send the right thing, because in most cases, especially with the customer service, if you've heard about certain CEX's customer service departments, which I'm not going to name, they're not that helpful. And it breaks my heart to see people just run through like a bull in a china shop and not stop. And that leads to the bonus tip. Avoid FOMO. And that means the fear of missing out. Now, you have to be a little bit of an opportunist in this space. Don't get me wrong. If you're trying to get that next huge, if you're trying to buy low and sell high, there's a timing event there, right? And you can't time the market, but it is what it is. Still, double and triple check everything before you go, because you never know if A, you bought the wrong coin. That happens all the time, and B, you're selling into a honeypot, which you can't sell anyway. So just these are terms that you may not understand. We have a glossary on our site for all of that. Just please be careful out there. Don't trust verify. That's actually over here on this one, which you can't see. Don't trust verify. You don't need to be in a hurry in this space, unless you're trying to buy one of these one of these reminders. Always confirm the address as well before big sends. And I'm not talking about the first 6 and the last 4. I'm talking the whole thing. Address poisoning, as they call it, is a real problem right now, where someone can have an address that looks just like it. Try your best to confirm the address before big sends. If you need to take both addresses and copy and paste into a notepad, that's something you can do. I'll even vibe code something if you just need something to pop into and say, are these 2 addresses the same? And it'll literally probably just vibe code that yourself. Or just ask an AI LLM, right? Ask Claude, ask Gemini, ask ChatGPT. Are these 2 addresses exactly the same? And they'll tell you. You don't have to be super fast. You just don't have to be. Check your URLs. This is another problem, right? You saw it when I was doing the search here. Let me just do that again. I'll tell you why. Now, I didn't realize Brave was doing this, but if you're on Chrome, this happens a lot. The sponsored link will come up first, right? Because someone has wanted to pay to have their address put up there. You cannot trust that this address is correct. Let me be very straightforward with that. Because someone can pay for this, that doesn't mean it's the actual one. Please go to social media, go to anywhere you can verify the official URLs for a project, and once you get it, bookmark it. Here in Brave, it's just this little button right here. In some other browsers, it's a star. There's a couple different ways to bookmark something, but make sure you bookmark things. That way you're going back to the correct website. You don't want to be in a situation where you just go to the wrong one. And people can clone websites pretty quickly, and it looks exactly the same. It is really scary out there with how good AI is now. Even before, people just able to put together websites quickly like that are scammers and different syndicates that look just like another website, but it just says, instead of tangent, it's tangern, Tangern. See how this EM can look like an R and N put together? If you're not paying attention, it can happen. And it happens on sponsored, because especially with exploiters, they'll pay for sponsored because they know they'll make that money back by people who are uneducated and ill-prepared. And if you watch his content, you are going to be neither. Correct. Yes. In any case. Just want to take a quick second to say hello to everybody. We're live streaming on the arena on Avalanche today for the first time. Shout out to everybody. Also in my retake chat. Hello everybody. It's been a minute since I've seen you guys. Gerald, Altcoin Bandit, and I don't see anybody else in there currently. But yeah, Gerald with a great comment. My mom always taught me to be under the radar. You never want to be in a situation where people know that you have money, because people will treat you differently, and not in a good way. Shout out to everybody who is watching on Abstract Chain as well as my friends at Den.show and Blaze.stream. Support on-chain digital media is my whole point, whether it's several of the ones that are available on Base, or like Retake, like Den. Abstract has their own streaming platform. The Arena's on Avalanche. Pump.fun is on Solana. Please support them, because the main reason why I restream and use them is because no one company should be able to own your content. That's the other part too about being in Web3. As a Web3 content creator, you own your content, nobody else. That's the great part about it too. Barrier to entry is lower. That's why I think there's going to be a huge push for more agencies and more big creators to make their way onto Web3, because you can own your data, you can set your terms, and do things the way that you want to. So, but yeah, check your URLs, check your addresses, check your contracts. Take the time to make sure that it is a valid contract when you're there. Trying to think of a good example of that makes quick sense, but it might be a little bit too much for a lot of the people who don't know anything about decentralized finance. So we'll go into that in a different piece of content. But yeah, these are 10 ways to stay safe in 2026. One thing, be the change you want to see and practice what you preach. Granted, I didn't do that with my auto lock on Rabby, but you know what? I'm gonna let you guys hold me accountable. We're gonna do it right now. Settings. Auto lock time. 10 minutes. There you go. It's in. Oh, they put some new stuff in here. Interesting. Password for non-whitelisted transfers. That's a new setting. And yeah, that's the new one. Oh, there's another update. There's another update that I need to put in. Yeah. Look at that. 95 integrated chains on Rabby. That's amazing. Almost 100 chains right now where Rabby can go. And again, this is within the Ethereum virtual machine system, ecosystem, Ethereum-based chains. 95 of them are active. So that should tell you that you should have a system for a lot of this, because there's 95 blockchains that are active in Rabby. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, there's more than 900 blockchains, period, with more than 200 that are easily accessible through a regular web wallet. Take the time to be safe, because this is your hard-earned money. Again, the one thing I can tell you, especially if you're looking to check out new projects, is use a burner wallet, meaning just go and download a wallet, whether it's Phantom, Backpack, Leap Wallet, Rabby, whatever you're using. Trust Wallet, Control, CTRL, the old XDeFi wallet. That's a great wallet too. Use one that has no money in it, and just use it to do your research. That's the number one way to stay safe. The other one is to always, this bonus tip is huge. The number of people I've seen and owned up to the fact that they got exploited because they didn't check the URL, because they're like, oh, well, everybody else is going to it. Take your time. Don't fall prey for a bad URL. I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen people lose tens of thousands of dollars in airdrops, which is something we talked about in our town hall today, about 150 projects we're going to be tracking. Because you clicked on a bad URL. Always go to the source, make sure it's good. At least here in DeFi, we like using DeFi Llama specifically for that. Or shout out to all my followers on CoinMarketCap. I am an approved CoinMarketCap creator. Look for your product here. Like for example, let's just look at Seeker. Shout out to all the Seeker. Oh my God, people keep selling. And then what you want to look for is this website stuff over here. Whether you're using CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, use large sites or DeFi Llama, also another one, to find the correct social as well as the website. The protocols have to provide this as part of their listing agreement. And depending on how you feel about listing agreements, they're going to give the right information. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, guys. Again, Betterment app inside of Farcaster. If you're watching inside of Farcaster, thank you so much for your support. I'm still just blown away by the fact that people are rocking with my content, man. This has been a huge dream of mine for a long time. My goal is to just educate people, keep people safe, and we're up to 224 holders. I can tell you right now, I don't get anywhere near that in the majority of my content. So again, Zora.co at the DeFi Professor. You can check out all the different types of content that I have here. I'm looking to do quite a bit more, of course. But of course, as you know, I do mostly streaming. So I'm going to be working to do a lot more short form content. For those who know nothing about DeFi, I have an ebook that I've created that I'm going to be putting out sometime in the next couple of days. So if you know anybody who's looking to find out more about how to become how to just get in this space, just have a better look at what's going on, because we still have people who are like, crypto's a scam. Guys, we have all of these people coming down. Of course, I have the one profile that doesn't have the chain link information, right? So if I just go back, let me just go back. Shout out to Kinsu, doing some research on them. I mean, this is this is just now. Oh, this is for the closing bell. I thought they were using Zeta as an AI agent for their exchange. I'm like, what? Crazy. Okay, good for Zeta. Good for Zeta. Congrats to them. But here's the big news. Never mind. Where is it? The big news is that the New York Stock Exchange is bringing all of their tokenized stuff on chain. They've got a full... let me just do the chain link. Blog. Chain. There we go. This was on our Wednesday show. And our Wednesday show, which is called Total Value Lock, we actually go over the news of the week to educate you on how you should consider interpreting all of that. And we talked about this here. They're creating a 24/5 equity stream. While the New York Stock Exchange market is open 24/7, they'll have access to real pricing 24/5 for some reason. But all of these on-chain economy perp dexes and prediction markets like Lighter, like Monaco on Say, Apex, and some of these Orderly will already have perps and stuff available to go with exposure for these US equities and ETFs. Now, the turning point for all this, guys, is if we get in-kind redemption, because New York Stock Exchange has mentioned that if you are a tokenized stockholder, you will get full rights, economic rights. So you'll be able to vote, you'll be able to, have access to your dividends. The moment that you actually get in-kind redemption to cash out those things in stablecoin settlement, then it's on. And that's going to happen, bar none. So for everyone who thinks that crypto is a scam, yeah, there's some parts about the industry that are not great. But overall, as a financial subsystem, it's here. 2018 to 2025 was the innovation, the ideation. the experimentation, and 2026 is the year of integration. It's all coming on chain. And if you keep turning a blind eye, it's just going to pass you by, because there's so much opportunity on here, much better risk-adjusted return than in other places that you can think of. Don't let the banks take your money more than they already have. You can be your own bank. You can go make the 6% that they go out and loan your money out for. That's why we have this show every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern here at Beat the Banks. And that's the show, guys. Thanks so much for joining us again. Thanks so much to Betterment. I am just unbelievably gobsmacked by the amount of support here. I'm going to have to take a minute to just kind of think about what's going on with this. Hello to Edwy as well in the retake chat. Yeah, it's all about spreading awareness, right? And the problem is that most people don't realize this is out here. And most people that do, like your regular Uber driver, believe in, don't come for me, Pi Network and XRP. That is not exactly what we're talking about here. This is a much different financial situation. Not that XRP can't do things, because they should be doing things for their holders, and hopefully they will soon. Anyway, my God, I have 51 notifications on Farcaster. That only means one thing. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, feel free to follow me on all the socials. We'll be here again next Wednesday for our Total Value Lock podcast. I've got one of my fellow unicorn creators. We have Uchenna. He's a developer mostly in the Starknet space. So if you don't know a whole lot about Starknet, we'll talk a lot about Starknet next week. There's a lot of great things that Starknet has been doing. Famously, at BTC 2024 in Nashville, they were responsible for the first ever zero knowledge proof on the Bitcoin L1. It was done by Starknet. There's what else is out there? Zcash, layer 2, I think it's using Starknet technology. I think that was the proposal. Anyway, Starknet's got some things. They believe in what we call zero knowledge proofs. So we'll talk more with Uchenna about that on Wednesday. Join myself and hopefully Robert will be there as well. But thanks for joining. Hope you found great value in today. Again, the whole point is just keeping you guys safe. I don't want to see people get scammed, whether they're young, whether they're old. Follow these steps, kind of keep them in the top of your mind, and you'll always be fine. And this is stuff that we live by every single day. So with that said, take care. 07. Oh, let me come back to my big old noggin. See, you can see it there. Don't trust verify. Right there. And then always send a transaction first. Oh, I contort myself into a pretzel at this point. Don't clip that, clippers. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. And keep beating those banks. Last pro tip. I will give you one last pro tip. If you are curious about possibly earning a little bit of extra scratch on Farcaster, it's meant to kind of be like it's decentralized social media, right? Farcaster is a protocol. You can people can create their own Farcaster client if they want. Most of them have been kind of consolidated into what is the Farcaster app. It used to be called Warpcast, but there used to be there was Nanars, there was Smartcast, Supercast, and then Warpcast, and it's all just Farcaster now. But it's alive and well, guys. Don't feed the FUD. They're perfectly fine. Farcaster's not going anywhere. I'm going to be one of those creators to make sure that I continue to post on there, keep the conversations going. You will see a lot of the same stuff in your Farcaster app and the base app, by the way. I don't know how they're going to fix that, but they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. But in both cases, if you have the base app, if you have the Farcaster app, at least on the Farcaster side, they reward the top 500 people who post every week. So if you're looking to earn a little bit of money, extra money, may not be a ton, but it's something, those distributions are given out weekly. Same thing with the base app. You can earn anywhere between 5 and whoever knows how much dollars in USDC just by posting and being consistent on the app. So there's a little pro tip for you guys. Go out, post, say great things. And again, shout out to Betterment. Thanks everybody who's been here, and we'll see you next week. Keep beating those banks, guys. You have the power. Make sure you take care of it. And if nobody else if you know people who don't know that, show them this session. Hopefully that'll get them on the right path. It's Jose here. Beacons up. Banks down. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And thanks for joining me today for Beat the Banks.